Joining us here on Indivisible, I'm your host, John Stubbins. Thrilled to have you with us, America. This is the show you put God, family, and country first. We will always tell you the truth. Real quick, I just want to give you a quick update. Every Tuesday night, 10 p.m. Eastern Time on Hunt Channel is where our show is on. And it is on there live for you. And you can also watch the show on my website, which is at johnstubbins.com. But we prefer that you go to Hunt Channel. You'll enjoy it a lot more because you can sit back and watch it on your smart TV. And I think that you'll really enjoy that. The app is free to download. Also, Indivisible with John Stubbins is proud to introduce our documentary, American Anarchy. Hope that you will go to the website and check that out. We have an event coming up right away, October 5th at Trump National. All the information is under events on my website. Also, the First Hour for Men, our men's ministry, has a new cover. Hope you'll check that out at thefirsthour.com. They are one of our partners. I think you're going to love it. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with our guest, Trevor Loudon.
Here's to the overlooked, the overworked, the underappreciated. Here's to the fighters to preserve our freedom, our liberty, our rights, our faith. Here's to the workers, the farmers, the first responders, and those who serve so bravely in our military. Here's to Americans who proudly hold tight to our values: God, privacy, freedom of speech, life and liberty. Here's to the patriots who love this country and everything it stands for, who should never be canceled for believing in America and the blessings of liberty. Finally, there's a bank for you, Old Glory Bank, named after the flag that represents the fabric of this great country and the people of Old Glory Nation, the engine of America. Now you have a bank that values your values. Now you have a bank that stands with you, no matter where you stand. Old Glory Bank. We stand with you. Member FDIC. Equal housing lender.
And thanks for staying with us, folks. My guest today is Trevor Loudon, my great friend, amazing author, amazing storyteller, amazing documentary filmmaker as well. And Trevor's been on my show many times. We're like brothers, and I just love the guy. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing great. Great to see you, John. You're looking well.
You too, sir. You too.
Thank
a
you.
lot of things going on in your life, and it's kind of a crazy time, but we're very, very excited. How's everything else going?
Look, it's good. We've been staying up north for a while through the summer. I've been writing books. We're getting ready to do part 2 of Enemies Within the Church. I just put out my new book, part 2 of my new book, House Un-Americans, exposing all the Marxists in Congress, about 100 of them. And so, yeah, I've been flat out, a little bit of touring, but mainly at home working.
Well, it's interesting. I talk about the enemies within the church all over the country. And so I'm sure you have a lot of people that contact you that tell you that they heard that from me, because look, it's so powerful and it tells the story. And to be honest with you, it really needs to be seen by every church congregation in the country so that they can identify what could be happening in their church, or if not their church, other churches, right?
Yeah, look, 100%. And what we're talking about, the movie Enemies Within the Church, is really about the Marxist infiltration of churches. And it's been going for 100 years, but now we call it wokeism. All these churches are all about critical race theory and all about white privilege and global warming and all this, and they've really abandoned a lot of the doctrines of the church. That's Marxism. They are preaching Marxism under another name. They're teaching their parishioners to be communists. And that's not what the role of a church. This is Satan inside the church, and millions of Americans are going to churches like this every week. And if they think that's the road to heaven, unfortunately, it's not. It's a road to it's a very deceptive path.
No, it's not. And like I said, to our audience who maybe hasn't seen you on before, Trevor and I do deep dives on the not only just the deep state, but also the radical left, the Marxist groups that are out there, everything from Acorn to the Weather Underground to Thousand Currents, the CCP, all the CCP shoot-offs, the puppet masters like George Soros, who are out there trying to destroy our great country. Tell us a little bit about, if you can, just a little insight into part 2 of the documentary, The Enemies Within the Church.
Yeah, well, the first part traced the history of this infiltration, and it really started back even before Marx. But it really got undergoing in the first part of the 20th century when the Communist Party was set up. They put people in the church. They took over the mainstream churches. But in the last 20 years, they've been working hard on taking over the evangelical churches. Now, the goal of all of this is to meld all the religions together in a world church, a global church. The Pope is a big part of this. But, this Chrislam movement, the sort of amalgamation of Islam and Christianity, what the movie is going to be about is how these Marxists have so altered Christianity and so destroyed the fundamental doctrines of Christianity that they're setting it up for a merger with other faiths. So we've sort of got a one world religion to go along with our one world government.
Right.
And our one world banking system and our one world union system and whatever. So the part 2 of Enemies Within the Church is going to take a more of a global focus to alert people where this corruption is going.
I know that you're on top of this constantly, but what are you seeing right now with the movement of the CCP kind of behind the scenes, pulling some of the strings here?
Well, I look at this is what I say. We are now living in a country that is run by, I wouldn't say Joe Biden, but I would say Valerie Jarrett and Susan Rice and Barack Obama and Xi Jinping, the president of China. We have a controlled Chinese asset in the White House. That is why he's gutting the military. That is why he gave Afghanistan to China. That is why the borders are wide open and hundreds of Chinese military are coming across every week. So they're getting ready to commit sabotage and assassinations and whatever when the war breaks out. We have a government in place that's basically a puppet of China. China is destroying us with their fentanyl, with their big tech.
They've got Trank now.
They've got what, sorry?
They've got Trank, which is it's actually a lethal dose of fentanyl combined with another drug that kills big game in South Africa, and they call it Trank. It's like the zombie drug. You've been seeing it all over the place.
Okay, well, this is the Chinese are killing 80 to 100,000 American kids every year with their drugs. That's a deliberate policy. They hit us with their COVID, that was a biological weapon. They hit us with their Black Lives Matter, which is controlled by China. And then they hit us with the the election fraud that they committed, and the voter registration groups that they sponsored in the big cities in our country. If you've seen 2,000 Mules by Catherine Engelbrecht, she detailed, and Greg Phillips, they're a great movie. They detailed that they found networks of Black Lives Matter supporters who are being supplied ballots by certain organizations that were dumping them into ballot boxes in the key swing states, Michigan, Georgia, Pennsylvania, etc., Arizona. Well, I identified the same network coming from the Chinese consulate in San Francisco. I came into that same network from the other end. I looked at who they were helping, and it turned out they were helping the same organizations that Catherine and Greg Phillips identified by using cell phone data. So they poisoned the kids, they burnt the cities, they wrecked our economy with their COVID. They managed the response to the COVID, because you'll find all the states that had the harshest lockdowns are all the ones with the most Chinese influence. So they dragged them out as long as they could to wreck the economy and do maximum psychological and economic damage to the population. Then they burnt the cities with Black Lives Matter, and then they used the COVID and Black Lives Matter to basically take the election.
Right. And, you and I were at the pit together.
Yes, of course.
With Greg and Catherine. And I was actually just talking to Greg a couple of days ago. In fact, I had Attorney General Ken Paxton from Texas on the show. And look, we started getting into this discussion because this is eerily, I'm talking about the formula, not every aspect of it, but the basic formula here is eerily reminiscent of 1933, isn't it?
Were you talking about the Nazis in Germany?
Well, not just the Nazis, but that whole time period on how things shaped out.
Yeah.
Whether it was, taking your guns, or, the deal with the press and the media, or, just one thing after another, burning of books, the riots, the burning of the Reichstag fire, on and on and on. It's eerily reminiscent. Look,
the 30s was the time of communism, Nazism, and mass destabilization.
That's right.
Which led to World War II.
That's right.
We're getting ready for the next World War, and we got to stop that.
We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with our friend Trevor Loudon.
The Isaac Law Firm, protecting men in family court.
By now, you've all heard me talk about Mike and his great products. Well, guess what? Mike's now introduced his MyPillow My Slippers, which are fantastic. Great on my feet, soft as can be. I love them. Mike's taken over 2 years to develop these slippers. He's designed them to wear indoor or outdoor, all day, all night long. Made with MyPillow foam and impact gel to help prevent fatigue. Made with quality leather suede. For a limited time, Mike is offering 40% off his new My Slippers. The My Slippers are so comfortable, you're going to want to get them for the whole family. Go to mypillow.com and click on the radio listener square and use promo code Indivisible. You'll also get deep discounts on all MyPillow products, including the Giza Dream bed sheets, the MyPillow mattress topper, and MyPillow towel sets. Or call 1-800-716-4639 and enter Indivisible as your promo code.
And now we have some important breaking news. Are you tired of the control big tech has over your digital life? It seems like there's no end to big tech's dominance. Well, there is a company called Liberation, and their mission is to liberate your digital world.
And we're back with our friend Trevor Loudon. Trevor, I want to expound upon that a little bit more. World War II, 1933, Munich, where it kind of all began. And, very reminiscent. It's like, I mentioned earlier, because we talked about Acorn so much and how they've spun off into different groups. And a lot of people are expecting that we won't be keeping track of those groups. I know that you are. Susan Rosenberg, Thousand Currents, the Weather Underground, Bill Ayers, Chesa Boudin, all these bad actors. What's the I'm trying to remember his name. It's Mallory Millett's nephew, the DA in Philadelphia.
Yeah, and Larry Krasner. Larry
Krasner. I mean, all these guys, all Marxists. I know you're keeping tabs on them, just like I am. Their involvement has brought just horror to this country. I know you got a lot to say about that.
Yeah, well, look, we're in a period of destabilization, like you said, it was in the 30s. So law has been broken down. These left-wing DAs refuse to prosecute criminals. So people live in fear. The cops are being, demonized. Good people are leaving the police. They're having to recruit gangbangers to replace them.
Or these foreigners. Now they want to hire these illegals.
They're hiring illegals. They're putting illegals in the military because the recruitment is so way down because of all the political correctness and the vaccine mandates in the military. So we're being invaded on every front. This is a revolution, folks. We are 75% through a communist revolution. We're not far. The final 25%, we'll have a full communist America.
That's right. And not only that, but here over the last month or so, I got to tell you, it's been at least 5 times that I've looked at an article or a news story where in a smaller town, an entire police force left the force.
Yeah, just resigned. Can you blame them?
No, I can't blame them. But I guess it strikes me as unbelievable, number one. But number two, that citizens themselves, I mean, look at Seattle, look at Minneapolis, look at San Francisco. People are you can see, because they're much further behind on this with the damage that was done out there. A lot of those citizens are finally waking up. And they're like, what is this? This is insanity.
Yeah. They, the once the tourist jewel of the West Coast, San Francisco, is now a cesspit. And people, some people are not standing up because there's this fear. You got to keep your job. Other people are leaving. And other people are standing up where they recalled 3 school board members there a year or two ago. And but this is everywhere I go around the country. There are people rising up. There's new groups forming. People sat at home for 2 years in the COVID, reading their kids' school textbooks in horror, watching their cities burned with no repercussions, and watching their elections stolen. And millions of people have finally confronted the reality that we could lose this country.
Yes.
Finally, it's a reality. We've been saying this for years, but finally, millions of people have got this. Will it be too late? I don't know. I'm heartened because I'm seeing so many people standing up, but it's up to shows like yours, John, and others to just keep the people moving upwards, keep people standing. You've got to be a voice to keep people stirred up and active, because that's the only way we're going to get out of this. That, and some providence. Yeah,
well, and not only that, we need to get some towns to say enough's enough. We want our police force, and I don't care if you like it. You tiny little pipsqueaks that are constantly complaining about everything. You can go. You can get out of here. We don't want you anymore. Enough's enough. Real quick, Trevor. Look again, like I mentioned about Acorn, Chesa Boudin, Bill Ayers. Some of these people, they've been discovered, they've been found out, they've been fired or resigned or had to do whatever because they've been busted, right? So, like in Chesa Boudin and Bill Ayers' case, they seem to have blended into the background. but you and I know they're still there.
Yeah.
Just like Acorn.
There's tens of thousands more like them. Like Acorn now in Texas, it's called the Texas Organizing Project. They've elected hundreds of people, commies just like them, in San Antonio, Houston, and Dallas, including Congress members. They backed Beto O'Rourke. They're going to back Colin Allred against Ted Cruz this time round in Texas. So Acorn, they haven't gone away. They've just changed their spots.
Well, and I'll give you another one real quick. The House leader in the state of Texas, they just shut down a bill that's been in existence since 1971 that allows the Attorney General of the state, Ken Paxton, to take legal action against people.
Yeah,
they buried that, okay? And then on top of that, this guy is supposed to be a Republican. He's a Soros puppet, and now he's trying to impeach Ken Paxton, who's one of our guys.
Yeah, Paxton was trying to save Texas. He was trying to stop the corrupt elections. So, as you say, a Republican basically blocked the law that would have allowed Ken Paxton to. Now, Ken Paxton, any attorney general in Texas, cannot investigate vote fraud in their own state.
It's insanity.
You would say it's insanity if it wasn't deliberate. It's a deliberate policy to subvert Texas, because if they can take Texas down, they've already got California. If the Electoral College votes from Texas and those of California, you get them both in the Democrat Party's hands, there can never be another Republican president in American history, ever. It's a one-party socialist communist state from that point onwards.
Oh man, that's depressing. I know it's you're right. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable to me. And I take as personal, in my family, we represent every military branch. Both of my grandfathers fought in World War II. And this I've never been so, I don't want to say depressed, because I'm always active fighting back, but I feel almost left, almost like I've been left behind by some bizarre world that we're in. It's a weird feeling, isn't it? Because this is not the America that I grew up in. It doesn't even resemble it.
Well, you look at Jason Aldean, you look at Oliver Anthony recently. I'm living in the new world with an old soul, and that's how you feel. You stand with you stand with the values of America that you grew up with, the values that made this country great, the values that led the world, and they're leading you into this evil, ugly new world, and you don't want it.
No,
none of us should want it. We should be fighting it back every way, and we will beat them, because look, Americans are ours. Americans angered, Americans fired up. That's a force to be reckoned with. We've already seen that. The moms have got stirred up, Moms for Liberty and groups like that. And the left is in desperate straits against them. I read all the left-wing publications. They are not happy.
No,
they are getting a lot more resistance than they expected. Battles they thought they'd won, they have to fight all over again. So it ain't all going their way.
Well, and not only that, Trevor, but you hit the nail on the head. When it gets bad enough, and I'm talking about to the level of utter chaos out there, when it gets to that level, they're finished, because we outnumber them. If our people stop working and stop taking care of their family and go out in the street and deal with this, it's game over. You know that. I know that. Brother, I want to thank you for coming on. Let's do another deep dive.
Always a pleasure, John. It's great to see you.
Look, I want to do another deep dive sometime later this fall on when we get into more of part 2 of the enemy within the church. Okay?
Yeah, sure. Can I just give a very brief pitch, because I got my 2 new books out,
Yes.
on the House Un-Americans. It details a whole bunch of congressmen. I've got security risk senators as well, 30 senators exposed. Just ask people to go to trevorloudon.com.
I've been running
signed copies of the books there.
I've been running that at the bottom of the screen the whole show.
Oh,
TrevorLoudon.com,
cool.
folks.
Okay.
Go to TrevorLoudon.com and get Trevor's books and his documentaries. We love you, brother.
Love you too, John. Good to see you. We'll catch you soon.
We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Hunter Nation is the ultimate we the people in the conservation community, holding our elected employees accountable to the hunting, fishing, trapping, freedom lifestyle that has brought wildlife back to the healthiest and most thriving condition in our lifetime. HunterNation.org is the epicenter for freedom and wildlife conservation in America. I am Hunter Nation.
Thanks for staying with us, folks. A great show tonight with Brother Trevor Loudon, just an amazing, smart man and a patriot. Back to the first hour for men, our men's ministry. This is me at Mike Huckabee at his show studios down in Tennessee. This is me with Brother John Schneider. We take this men's ministry everywhere that we go, all over the United States. Doesn't matter. It's important to us. It's important to you. We're trying to save our families and our country. The first hour for men is just one of our many great partners. And we just went into a partnership with Turning Point USA. So they're going to be a new partner of ours. We're very excited about that. Also, just to give you one more flash, October 5th, Trump National. It's going to be an amazing event. Go to johnstubbins.com right now, and you can get your tickets. God bless you. God bless your families. God bless America. We'll see you next week, folks. We love you. We've tried so many of Mike's products at MyPillow. Whether it's the Giza Dream Sheets, the MyPillow mattress topper, or whether it's the MyPillow towel sets. Me and my family here at Indivisible, we've tried all of Mike's great products and we just love them. My mom loves her robe. Mark loves the big dog bed for Shakespeare. And my favorite, the moccasins, which are really great for my feet. Save up to 66% off for MyPillow products for you and your family. Go to MyPillow.com and enter the promo code Indivisible for my show, or call 1-800-716-4639 and give them the promo code Indivisible for my show. You're going to love it.